In this video, I want to share a tip for managing your identity to facilitate the old identity dying so the new identity can blossom. And this came to me today while I was out on a walk. And we'll share that in a moment, but first let me quickly recap on why this is important. When we say manifestation is building memory in advance. Memory is personified as your identity. The memory is all the information, which is called as also karma. It is the memory you are imprinted with through your genetics and the memory you are conditioned with through the external stimulation of the authority figures and what you were exposed to as a child. And this information culminates into the expression of a person or persona. This is your identity. And your identity is what is behind the circumstances which you are experiencing and also expressing. So the information expresses itself first as identity and then further into the reality, as the reality. In quantum physics, this is called as the observer and the observed. They're one and the same. Now, one of the key teachings of my last Millionaire meeting that we did the first public live on the YouTube channel on August 28th, which you can go watch the recording of that. It's in my videos. You have to go to the live tab. And the key teaching that has been coming to me is to not feed the old identity. Feeding means thinking and feeling the problems and suffering associated with what you don't want. And so you're disconnecting from that and you are feeding instead that which you want, the ideal, your truth, which you have ideally crystallized on paper, or at least established, pulling it out of your abstract mind and put it and fleshed it out, so to speak. Now, what happened today was, on the walk, I saw something that I had wanted, and I started longing for it, and I caught myself. And if you watched the Millionaire Meeting, you know that I mentioned when you become aware of something, you become aware of a process, a thought process, a thinking pattern. That awareness is like a sword. It also sheds light. And when you shed light onto something, the darkness is removed, clarity is established, and then it no longer has any power. And as soon as I became aware of it, the words that came to me were don't want, be. So don't want, comma, be. So it's this whole concept, the same line is you don't chase, you attract. And how do you attract? You have to become the version of yourself which is experiencing that which you want to experience. In other words, by me longing for something on the outside, I am working within the effect. If I actually want to have that, I have to change my information and therefore change my identity, how I think and feel. And to do that, the simplest way, which I've watched the replay of the Millionaire Meeting for this coaching segment, is mastering the two basics of habit and focus, habitual focus. I have to feed the identity I want through thinking and feeling as if it is already real. And I have to simultaneously, this is very important, disconnect from the old identity. So if you are if you're doing meditations, you're doing mantras, you're doing rituals, you're doing vision board, you're doing whatever other techniques that you're doing to manifest. But if you are also continuing to feed through thinking and feeling of problems, sufferings, having it in your head, you're arguing with the person at work in your head, or you're going through your mind, you keep remembering, you keep thinking about the things you don't want, some sort of trauma. What you're doing is you are feeding that with your life force energy to stay alive. You're keeping that information there. And that information stays within you. And then that continues to express itself. And therefore it can block the manifestation you are planting to express itself. It's kind of like you are allowing the weeds to continue to grow in the garden, and the idea is to let the weeds die and focus on the plant which you are wanting to enjoy, that you actually want to see bear fruit. And so this is the message. Don't want, be. And now it all makes sense when you hear the words from Jesus who talked about the kingdom is within. Now you understand what that means. The kingdom is not without. The without or the outside world is an effect. The kingdom has its roots, is established inside of yourself. The heaven, the kingdom, the heaven. You have to create that inside of yourself. How? Crystallize what you want, your ideal without any limitations, your truth. Everything, you have all the resources, you have everything. What are you authentically doing? What would you choose to do as your authentic expression? Write that down, get the juices flowing, and keep writing it and letting yourself add, subtract, and optimize, refine the words, the syntax. Keep doing that and keep reading it. And familiarize every time you're reading it, you're building memory with it. And when you build memory with it, the stronger the memory becomes, which is born out of doing it habitually. And not only habitually, but when you're there, you're focusing, meaning you are present, meaning you are not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you are available, you're in the present moment now. And through presence, you achieve focus. Focus is now you have all that energy that you were scattered, it's now collected, and now you can apply it through your willpower. Presence and direction of will, attention with intention. So if you're looking at a picture or you're doing a gazing of a symbol, being aware, meaning you're fully in the moment, and then directing your focus, you are seeing it, the symbol completely, or you're listening completely. This means focus. Keep doing that, and that stronger more you read and think and feel when you're reading it in present tense, as if it's already real. You're building more and more memory with it. The stronger the memory becomes, the more impact it has. It only takes one line of code, which is that information or one memory, to change your entire identity. It's the little things that create the big results, and the simplest is the profoundest. Don't want, be. God bless.